Good morning. Today is Thursday, May 25th, 2022. It's raining a bit, as you can see. I literally just finished a walk, and at the very, very end of my walk, it started sprinkling. So I carried my umbrella the whole time just in case it would get really rainy, but it didn't. And so I'm pretty glad that I missed that. And yeah, so I thought I'd go ahead and do an update video. Unfortunately, I've recorded a couple of videos since my last one that I posted, but something always went wrong whenever I was recording them. So I am recording now. And kind of as an update. So my sister and I'll kind of go back quite a bit. My sister and I back in March decided that we were going to do a little challenge between each other. And we had decided, it was probably about mid-March, that we were going to do essentially like a weight loss challenge based on body weight percentage. That way it was fair. And the person who worked off the most body weight would be essentially the winner, and the person who didn't, the loser, essentially, would pay the winner $5 per pound that they have worked off. I gotta open this window. There's a little stuffy in here. Goodness. So that is fun. But unfortunately, in March, we both got like a bad stomach bug. And I mean, it was bad. Like vomit and diarrhea. It was horrible. So anyway, I got it first. And at first we thought maybe it was like food poisoning, foodborne illness. But then 3 or 4 days after I started to recover, she got it. So it probably had that, I want to say gestation period. I don't know if that's the right word, but that period where it essentially incubates in your stomach, in your gut. And yeah, and then she got it. And I mean, it was really bad for her too. Like there were times both of us felt like in our respective sicknesses, there were times where we felt like we were going to die. So, so there's that. But anyway, in that time, I think I lost I can't remember if it was like 4 or 6 pounds, and my sister lost 9 pounds whenever she got sick. So she asked me after she was done, she said, how do you feel about just going ahead and starting over with that challenge in the new month, because I don't think it's very fair because I've lost like 9 pounds. And I'm like, yeah, and we both had decided we were going to do it in a healthy way. So no, essentially nothing like that, basically. So anyway, so we started over in April, and by the end of April we had both gained weight, and that sucked. And then of course, so we didn't, neither one of us had to pay the opposite person, because neither of us lost anything at all. Because I was even thinking, well, if she loses, it's going to be an automatic, I mean at that point, because we hadn't checked yet, and I knew that I had gained. And I thought, well, if I don't know how she's doing, but if she has lost, then obviously I'll be paying out whatever she's lost, even if it's just a pound, because she's lost something, whereas I haven't lost anything, I've gained. But it turned out we both gained that month. So then the beginning of May, we essentially started over, and we cracked down, and we have been so good, and my sister is just killing it. I am so proud of her. You have no idea how proud of her I am. She's made so many good choices. And she has, the last time I checked with her, she's worked off about, I want to say 15 pounds. And I've only worked off maybe like 2, which blows. But, I mean, if we're being realistic, she's considerably heavier than I am. And so body weight percentage wise, she'd still be killing it, but it would be a different chunk for both of us. So while 3 pounds might not sound like much body weight percent wise, it's probably a higher percent for me, obviously, than it would be for her, whereas her 15 pounds would be like a lower, it's a lower percent if it were, yeah. I hope you understand what I'm saying. The piece of the pie, her 15 pounds would be a smaller piece of the pie in regard to like less pounds for me, but I don't know how much less. But anyway, regardless, I still think that her 15 to 20, because I'm almost sure that she told me like 16 recently. But anyway, whenever I figured in that 15 pounds, I'm like, damn, I'm going to owe my sister $75. Good God. So that's what we're looking at right now. Roughly $75, if not more than that I'm going to owe her. So that'll be fun. And then, let's see here. Let me just miss that alarm because it is 7:30 a.m. on the dot. But anyway, so we both really cracked down in the last like 2 to 3 weeks. And we've been making healthier choices and we've been exercising. I haven't been exercising. Like nothing's super consistent yet, but I have exercised. I think we've gone on, my sister and I both have gone on a couple of walks. We've done random squats. Like we'll sit and play video games and then one of us will get up and say, let's do 20 squats for home country or 30 squats for home country. And we'll do that many squats. And then we might get up a little later and do some more squats. So while it's a little bit sporadic, it's still doing something to move us towards our goals. And so for her though, there's something really neat that she can do. She's been doing some squats every time she brushes her teeth. So she'll be brushing her teeth and she'll do just squats while she's brushing her teeth. I don't know if she counts them or not, but you know, that's something that she's been doing. She went ahead and downloaded a calorie and kind of fitness tracker thing. So hers is called Lose It. The one that I was using before I quit using it is MyFitnessPal. So either Lose It or MyFitnessPal, both really good tools. She's told me about some of the things that she can do on Lose It that I don't know if you can do on MyFitnessPal. I don't know if it's just because I haven't explored it that thoroughly or if it's just not something that you can do. But one of the neat things that she's able to do on Lose It is she's able to input recipes. So one of the things Shelly likes to do is make like a big vegetable soup and like a beef vegetable soup or something of that nature, and we'll put like bags of like frozen vegetables in or fresh stuff that we cut up, and I say we because sometimes I help her, but she's usually the one that makes them, and so we'll like chop up an entire cabbage and throw it in there, and an entire onion or two and throw it in there, and then like I said, the bags of like mixed frozen vegetables or green beans or whatever the case. And so I guess with the Lose It app that she's got, she can plug all of that in as a recipe and then divide it into like servings. Like she can divide it into 16 servings or each 1 cup servings or something like that, so that it actually does divide how many calories per serving size that she has, which to me is totally awesome, because there were a lot of things that when I was using MyFitnessPal, and again, I haven't delved into it enough to know if they can do that or not, but there were a lot of things that I was doing with MyFitnessPal that where I would actually add all of the calories up on pen and paper, using pen and paper, and then I divide them by like usually 2 cup portions that way, because we usually put them in these little containers that are about 2 cups each, or a pint if you will. So anyway, so it's really convenient. And then of course, you know, she's trying her calories in, calories out, but she's also trying to really make her calories count. So she's eating a lot healthier, and I'm so proud of her because she's killing it. She's been like, I think even without exercise, there have been several days where she's been under 1,000 calories or under like 1,200 calories. And while one could say it's not very healthy, she's, like I said, she's making her calories count. She's eating vegetables. She's having like protein shakes with like extra nutrients figured into it and all that. She is like having a lot of good healthy snacks, and then she's eaten like pretty lean meat most of the time. Like she's really doing like really well. We've been doing hard boiled eggs. We've been doing cherry tomatoes and carrots and stuff like that. So she's been really killing it, and then she's going to destroy me this month, but hopefully next month I'll at least give her a run for her money, because that's kind of my goal. So when I realized that she had already lost 15 pounds, I was like, oh shit, I'm going to owe her so much money. So that brings me to my next thing that I was going to talk about. I actually gained, like I said, I gained weight that first, like after the stomach flu month of March. In April, I gained, and then like 2.5 weeks ago, it was one of those funny things. I stepped on the scale, and I had eaten really well the day before. Like I'd made good choices, and I had eaten really well the day before. And I stepped on the scale, and I had gained like 4 pounds since the week before. And I was surprised. I was like, why? What happened? I'm like, how did I gain 4 pounds? What the heck? And then like later in the day, like as the day went by, there was this, you've seen I'm assuming you've seen those movies where like somebody comes up and like slaps somebody in the back of the head, which I do not condone at all. Like that's a big no-no for me. But that like obviously I was like, well, of course you gained. Of course you didn't lose anything. Why would you be surprised? Because you only ate healthy for one day. So it's like, it was a really stupid moment for me. But anyway, yeah. So I had gone up, and this was kind of one of my wake up moments, because I've had three. I've had kind of three wake up moments. One of them was this. It was the number on the scale, and I'll come back to that in a minute. But the other two were one of the times I was coming up my 3 steps on my porch. It was kind of difficult, and I haven't had that much trouble since we first moved in, when I was like severely out of shape. I think I was like about 280 something. I know I was like, when I got serious about my health back in July 2018, I was 281 pounds, I think. But I think at my highest, I was like 285 that I know of, my highest that I know of, because I may have been further than that and just hadn't tracked it. But anyway, so, and I mean, out of shape, like you can be at a heavy weight and be pretty fit depending on where you're at in your fitness journey. Like, for example, when my sister had lost so much weight, she was probably about, I want to say she was down to maybe 270 or 280. Maybe even further than that, but she was like anywhere from like 250 to 280, which she was still like overweight and even obese, but she had been for like 6 months or so, she had been exercising consistently and eating so healthy that her fitness was really good for her weight. So, but my problem was back a few years ago, my fitness was shit. And just walking up these stairs were a problem. I would have to grab the rail. I'm looking over because my porch steps are right over there. In fact, I need to get myself inside. I don't want to get up from this spot and lose my train of thought, because that happens. But anyway, so my fitness level was horrible, and just trying to get up these 3 steps was a struggle for me. It was. So I would just like, I can't even, like, my feet were killing me. My leg muscles sucked. I can't even. And for some of you out there, you might actually be at that point in your fitness where just climbing up 3 steps is hard for you. So for me, one of my wake up calls this time around again, is that it was starting to get hard to go up those steps again. And I'm like, I promised myself that would never, ever happen again. And thankfully it's not horribly hard. And it wasn't like it was just after a long day. It was my muscles. It was my lack of fitness. It was my lack of having worked out. And how my strength had deteriorated because I hadn't been taking care of myself. So anyway, so that was one of my wake up calls. And I will show you these lovely steps. And I know I've shown you before in a different video, but I will show you again. So go ahead and grab my coffee here. Get ready, because I gotta get ready for work here in a minute. It is currently 7:39, so hey. But yeah, anyway, so my 3 steps. Lovely roses. This is it. 3 steps. 1, 2, 3. And gosh, just climbing up those steps. Like I said, I had to grip the railing and direct coffee on myself. I had to grip the railing just to get up the steps and just trudge up 3 steps. Now I can have, and I say now because since I've had that wake up call, I've been like, nope, not gonna happen again. And I've been a lot better about it. So I'm back to where it's not a problem at all anymore, which is wonderful. But anyway, again, so now I can, have my arms full and still be able to make it up those steps without touching the railing. I don't need the railing and all this other. So hi, Willow. So, there's that. So that was one of my wake up calls. Another one of my wake up calls was physical. It was part, camera and it was part mirror for me. I looked in the mirror, and I'd been seeing it when I talked to my boyfriend, cause we use that Facebook video call, and I'd be talking to him and I'd be like, man, there's so much extra, but I'm thinking maybe it's because of the angle, maybe it's the angle and I'm pushing down and that's happening. And then I was like, but I don't think so, because even up like this, I'm seeing extra chin, and then I was looking in the mirror one day when I was getting ready and I saw that extra and I'm like, oh, wow. I'm like, God, I've gained weight back in my face, And then, okay, so now I'll bring you back to that number on the scale, which was the biggest trigger for me as far as trying to get back into the good habits. So I stepped on the scale and I was back up to 268.6. And I was so close to 270s, to getting into the 270s again, that I was like, I promised myself I wouldn't get that big. I promised myself I would never go back to the 270s, because I was there for a really long time before I even got into the 280s, but I was in the 270s for a really long time. And so anyway, so that was my big kicker. I was 268.6 2.5 weeks ago. I want to say it was on a Tuesday, which would have been, let's see here. Okay. So I want to say Tuesday. It was either Tuesday the 10th or Monday the 9th, whenever I weighed myself at 268.6. And so anyway, so then I worked off 6.6 pounds. And I was at 262.0, which was a good step for me. But at the very beginning of May, I was at 264.2, I think. 264.2. So overall, and I weighed myself this morning after I'd used the potty, after I'd gone potty, and I weighed 263.6. So I've lost in, I've had that talk before about how I feel about the word lose, because apparently, I found quite a bit of it, but anyway, overall for this month so far, I've lost just under a pound overall, but at the same time, this last weekend was my nephew's graduation. We went out to eat at the Golden Corral, which is a big buffet place. I ate a lot, and I hadn't eaten like that in a few weeks, and oh wow. I mean, it was delicious. Most of it I loved, but damn, I hadn't eaten like that in a few weeks. And so I really overindulged, and it was great. And congrats to my nephew for graduating high school. Especially congratulations to him, because he has been through so much. As I've stated before, he lost his father and his grandfather in the same week last year, and unfortunately since has had to move out of the house because we've got to get ready to sell it and all this other stuff. So it's been a lot of changes for him. And it's been kind of hard, but I won't get into all that. But congratulations to him for sticking it out and finishing school. And now he's a high school graduate. And if he doesn't want to go back to school, he never has to again. I'm hoping that he will. And he's talking about maybe, but he definitely wants to go to work. And I support his decision to go into the workplace because I know that college isn't for everybody. And I know that I'm getting ready to be a teacher, and I want to encourage kids to pursue a higher education, but also it's not for everyone and it's not everything. There are so many jobs in this world that don't require that. So I am getting off on my little tangent, so I'm not going to do that. But anyway, back to the issue at hand. Once again, congrats to my nephew for graduating high school. But when it comes to bringing it back to the weight loss thing, you can even see, I've just really, and I know that it's awkward, but I wear my pants up high so that you don't see the two fat rolls. Because there's like this upper fat roll and then there's a lower fat roll. And so I wear my pants high so that it covers up where the break is. But if I take my waistband down right here, you can see where the break is. And see, there's that third fat roll forming. And we don't want that to happen anymore. So, yeah. So anyway, brings me back. So again, had kind of it wasn't even the entire weekend. That's the crazy part. We went out to eat. I didn't even eat anything else for the rest of the day. After that meal, I think I had like a bowl of Magic Spoon cereal, which is 0 net carbs. And it's actually pretty good. It is not the same as normal cereal. It's not as tasty, as good, but it's a really good alternative if you're wanting to do something that is like low to no carb and relatively healthy. This is pretty good stuff. So yeah, I think I had a bowl of that in the morning, and then we went to his graduation, and then after his graduation, that was such a big meal for me. I hadn't eaten like that in so long. I think I had like 2 full plates. Full plates, like heaping full plates. And then I had like a piece of pie with a little bit of ice cream on it as a dessert. And I could have stopped like halfway through my second plate of food, and been done, but I didn't want to stop. So I was like, hey, special occasion, legit. And I'm going to eat what I want and I'm going to enjoy it. And I did too. I enjoyed it. God, it was so good. And that was one of those things too, that it was nice to have, like, it was a legit special occasion. It wasn't like me making a special occasion out of it. Cause that's what I know that's one of my tendencies when I'm wanting to overeat. I'm like, well, and I know a lot of us have gone through this where you've been like, well, it's been a really rough day and I'm just going to go ahead and enjoy myself and I'm going to eat, or, hey, I got this done today and I've been working on this forever. So I'm going to reward myself with blah, blah, blah. So you get the picture. Yeah. So anyway, that, and then unfortunately I got really sick, not yesterday, but the day before. We think it might've been a foodborne illness from one of the fast food restaurants. And I'm not going to defame this fast food restaurant because the one in my town is usually pretty good. I've never had any problems with them, but we went to one of them in our capital city, in Springfield. And we're just kind of assuming that was what it was because I was fine. And then I know that most of the time with foodborne illness, you'll get sick about 4 to 6 hours afterwards. It's not with everyone. Some of them have a, I don't know if gestation's the right word, but it's killing me that I can't remember this word, but essentially gut incubation period. Some of them even have months that they develop in your gut. Again, neither here nor there. But anyway, I got really sick. And so I was a little bit concerned that I would have lost a shitload of weight, no pun intended, just due to being sick the other day. Because, I was sick. I threw up 6 times and I had horrible diarrhea. And I'm still recovering as far as like the diarrhea goes. I'm still recovering. Luckily, all of that is turning around, which is wonderful. But I was really sick, and shout out to my boyfriend for taking care of me because I was staying with him when it happened, and he's great. So thank you, dear, and I love you. And anyway, that was rough. So I was a little bit concerned that I would have gained, or not gained, sorry, I lost a significant amount of weight, and that would have put me at like an unfair advantage against my sister. But I didn't. I actually, again, you know, I weighed myself this morning, and I am up to 263 point. It was 263.6, I think it was. Yes, I think it was 263.6. So that is where I'm at as of today. So obviously I didn't lose anything more. So like last week when I weighed, I was at 262.0. This week, as of today, 263.6. Excuse my wheezing. So I'm really hoping that if I can stick to it, I will stick to it. And I'm hoping that I can work off at least 3.7 pounds so I can be back into the 250s bracket, because every time, and this is something that I discussed with my sister, every time I hit a new like tens bracket, I would be like, I'm never going back. So I'd be like, I was in the 280s, and then I'd hit the 270s. Okay, I'm never going to go back to the 280s. And then I was in the 260s, having come out of the 270s. And I'm like, I'll never be back. I'll never be back into the 270s. And so on until I got down to like the 220s. And this is something that I discussed with my sister. I'm like, I feel like the 220s are almost like this weird subconscious block for me. That I feel like I left high school, when I graduated high school, I was in the 220s, somewhere in the 220s. I might have been 220 on the dot. I don't remember, but I know I was in the 220s when I graduated high school. So I went into the adult world at like 220 pounds. And I feel like there's this weird mental block. And I've gotten past it twice. I've gotten all the way down to 209 once and all the way down to 207 this last time that I, you know, consistently lost weight and was healthy and everything. So coupled with the fact that I told myself, I'll never be back up here, and I'll never be back up here. And then I even got to a point when I was down like lower, like in the 220s and in the 230s when I was there. I was like, I'll never be back here unless I get pregnant someday. And then it'll be at least acceptable that I'm back into this range because I'll be carrying a baby. I'm like, but I'll never get back up really high and all this other. And no, I'm not pregnant. No, I've never been pregnant. And, you know, here I am. I'm back in the 260s. Like, it's almost like what happened, but at the same time, I know exactly what happened. It was a consistent, it's okay to do this. It's okay to do that. And just consistent little allowing myself to slip back into those old habits. So 2 years ago, in this month of May, maybe even to the date, I'd have to check the picture, but 2 years ago, I was down to 207, I do believe. It might have been 209, but one of the two. Cats. But 2 years ago, I was down to there, and it took me about 1.5 to 2 years to get to that point. Almost 2 years to get to that point, from July 2018 to May 2020, and then from May 2020 to here we are now, May 2022. I went down about 70 pounds, a little over 70 pounds, I think like 75. And then in the following 2 years, I went up about 60 pounds, about 60 pounds to the highest that I recorded a few weeks ago. So I am trying to bring it back down. So essentially, this is something that I've talked about. I've lost 50 pounds twice. This most recent time, it was 70. So I know that I can do it. And both of the times that I've worked off that weight have been healthy. And so I know that I can do it. I know what I need to do it. I am mentally equipped to do what I need to do. It's just a matter of implementing all of that and making it happen. And my sister and I have been listening to a lot of Reddit weight loss / weight gain. Like, what did you notice when you've gained weight? What did you notice when you've lost weight? What's helped you, blah, blah, blah. If you want to check out Luke Narwhal, I will try to remember to leave a link to his YouTube videos, at least one of them. if not his actual channel, but at least one of his YouTube videos down in my description below. And check him out because he does a lot of Reddit readings about weight related stuff. So it kind of helps you to keep motivated. And a lot of people that can sympathize with things and all this other. So we've been listening to a lot of that usually when we're playing video games and hanging out just to kind of keep us. It really does help motivate us to keep us on track. It helps us eating more healthily, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, we've been listening to that. And one of the things that one of the guys or gals, whoever was the poster of this Reddit reading, of this Reddit posting, said that they had been fit and then they gained weight back and now they're working back to it. And they said they almost felt ashamed. They almost felt ashamed because they had to start back at square one, like all the way to square one, where they had to like start all the way over. And I was thinking, God, I can relate to that because I've lost weight twice and I have to start over. I have to start over where I'm doing like 10 to 15 crunches at a time. Like it's almost all the way rock bottom again. And I hate that. Like I can't run right now. I'm literally so out of shape right now that I can't run because I feel like it's going to throw me into an asthma attack. Walking even makes me a little wheezy. If I walk like moderate brisk, which is what I did today. And I think I got around in like 33 minutes, but it was moderate brisk, but like it makes me wheezy. And back when I was running consistently, yes, I'd be wheezy and I'd cough up my morning phlegm that I have all the time anyway. But once it was gone, it was gone. And now it's like all throughout the day, I get wheezy randomly for different reasons. Like if I laugh too much, I get wheezy. I'm quick to laugh. So there's that. If I exert myself too much physically, which I hate that there is a too much physically right now that is so low. Like I'm not doing anything big. I'm just walking or going upstairs or whatever, which again, in the last 2.5 weeks has gotten better for me. But my God, I'm back at square one. And I'm like, thank God this person talked about that because I almost feel this sense of, it's almost shame that I have to start all the way back at square one. That I have gotten to a point where I almost don't want to go back to the gym because I don't want to face these people that I was seeing consistently every day and them to see me having gained so much weight because they saw me like the first 20 pounds that I gained since being down at the lowest. They'd seen me because I was still going to the gym, you know. It wasn't as consistent, obviously, because that was part of what got me back here in the first place. But they were still seeing me. And now I'm like 40 pounds heavier than I was when I was going kind of inconsistently, but often enough where they were still seeing me. And yeah, so I'm kind of ashamed of my body that I'm going to end up going back to the gym looking like this and having made the wrong kinds of gains. And and the fact that I have to start at square one again, the fact that I don't even think that I could be on the elliptical machine and rock it like I used to. Like I used to be able to do the full like hour and 5 minute workout that they do on the elliptical because they give you like that 5 minute cool down at the very end. That hour and 5 minute workout, I can't do the elliptical yet. Like I am so back to square one that it's not funny, but it's not even funny. It's the old saying, it's so bad. So, regardless, that's where I'm at. And I have to wrap it up because I really wanted to take a shower before work. So that needs to happen. But anyway, wow, I'm so back to square one, so back to it. So right now I'm walking and that's where I'm at. I'm like, if I can walk around my park once every day for a little while, and then I decided once I hit 250, I was gonna go into my 250s first before I started incorporating jogging, but I'm actually gonna go ahead and probably wait until I'm at 250 or until I'm at that point physically where I know I'm ready. So it's either gonna be 250 or a little above, like somewhere in between now and 250. Whenever I'm feeling like ready to do it, then I'll start incorporating jogging. But right now it's back to walking and it's back to a few crunches and it's back to just not everything that I wanted. So more to come in other videos. Have a great day. Make good choices, be your best self, live your best life, and I will talk to you in a future video.